Let's talk about princess treatment if you're at a restaurant and how you interact with the waitstaff and the hostess. If I am at a restaurant with my husband, I do not talk to the hostess. I do not open any doors, and I do not order my own food. It's not in any sense like you're better than the hostess. You're just letting your husband lead and be masculine. He made the reservation. He's taking you out. Let him do the logistics. You're just being a princess.
Look, I don't hate that.
Sign me up. Does your partner give you the princess treatment? Is it wrong to want it? And what does that even mean? The term princess treatment originated on TikTok, like everything, but has since been interrogated by The Guardian and the New York Times. So it's very serious.
It's legit.
It's legit. Here's what it actually means. It means your partner treats you like royalty. They, and let's be honest, because all the examples I've seen are women talking about men treating them like princesses. I suppose it could apply to same-sex relationships.
I know women who are in same-sex relationships who request and
the princess
prefer
treatment.
the princess
I know hetero
treatment.
relationships where the man is definitely the princess.
So this is what happens. They open the door for you. They pull out your chair. They order for you. They shower you with gifts. But the question is, what does the princess have to do in return? You have to create a frictionless home. You don't burden him with your emotions. You let your husband lead or your partner lead and be masculine. One creator explains that you need to lean into your softness and you need to look after yourself. You've got to exercise. Specifically, it says drink lots of water. And I'm going to assume –
That's just good advice.
Yeah, that's just some health
princesses.
advice, free health advice. But also I just chuck this in. I think you probably need to pluck your chin hair. I think that's part of it.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
I'm a little bit confused. So from what I understand, this idea of – it's not new, women talking about, oh, he treats me like a princess, right? They don't usually – like when I've heard that expression in the past, it's not usually implied that they have to do anything. It's more a statement about him and how he feels or how their partner feels about them, right? But this whole genre of princess treatment, like we just heard there, is about turning it into this proactive situation that you can
make a man treat
create
you like a princess.
exactly
Yeah.
by doing certain things. So you almost give him no choice.
Yeah.
Or is it about how to sort of encourage or maintain?
The idea is that the princess treatment is a dynamic and that you, by knowing how to accept a compliment, by knowing how to walk, by knowing how to giggle properly and respond to the messages, then you can kind of encourage the princess treatment. And it's women like offering each other advice. And if this feels trad wife adjacent, it's because it's absolutely trad wife adjacent. But do you think there's actually a problem with a woman wanting to be treated like a princess?
I actually think it's a bit different to what you said. I don't think it's about wanting to be a princess. I think the way that she worded this particular video, it's in the sense that men want women who act like princesses, so this is how you become one. And I think she's going.
Do they though?
I think that's where she's getting at, which is the same with the trad wife thing, right? Like I think, and this is just a personal experience from some of the men I've dated right now. There's like this underlying need that it seems like these women are coming together because there's something that's a bit off in their relationship. So they're trying to find different ways on how to maintain it.
Or how to justify it. Put a spin on it.
It's the same thing with these dating experts on TikTok. And the only reason they're experts is because they've just dated a lot. I should be on there. and it's this way of like, even when she started that video, let's talk about princess treatment. And I'm like, we're not talking. You're talking. And you're basically just telling us you're doing something that you just really like to do. I don't think it's a princess treatment. I think she just has a kink to be treated that way, and she's just telling us that this is what she likes.
Oh, I think this is so interesting. So, because trad wife doesn't sound like a club you want to join, right? But who doesn't want to be treated like a princess? Until you think about the princesses that you can think of, Meghan for a minute, Kate, Mary, what do they have in common, Diana? They don't really have voices. They don't really have control over their own destiny. They're scrutinised constantly for their appearance is the primary way that they communicate.
Well, the job of a princess is beauty and babies.
Yeah, they don't make demands. They don't have bad days. That's so interesting. So when I first met my husband, every guy I'd been out with before him had been, I don't know, what's the opposite of a princess? They'd treated me like that.
They just didn't like you.
Yeah, they were just dickheads. And so when we first got together, I was really had no experience of someone opening a door or wanting to pay for my dinner or anything. And I really pushed back on it. And not the opening the door so much, but we'd go out and I'd grab my wallet and he goes, you don't have to grab your wallet. And I'd be like, I'd get angry with him. I'm like, stop trying to make
Control
me
me.
rely on you. And I'm a financially independent woman. And it didn't feel safe to me. Like I had this inherent suspicion of what it meant to not be independent. Because princesses aren't independent. They're only princesses usually because they're the child of royalty, their parents are royalty or their husband's royalty.
But I feel like what he was doing was not like princess treatment. He was just being nice. I think the princess treatment that I take issue is like the list of the stuff that the guy does is just nice. That's just chivalry to me. It's the stuff that the woman has to do to keep the princess treatment going.
Yeah, like not make eye contact with the server, not order what you want to eat.
Not have any big emotions. Look, unpopular opinion. I'm a bit exhausted by feeling like I have to have a take on everyone's relationship now. And TikTok, it's like it's trying to force me to do that. And
princess, narcissist.
there are so
coercive
many
control.
dynamics within other people's relationships that I don't understand. Like, everyone who grew up, like I look at my parents, I'm like, yeah, I don't really understand that part of your marriage at all. But that's not any of my business. That's totally, totally fine. When we think that in order to have good, healthy relationships, there are boxes we need to tick, which we're constantly being told, like your partner should be doing this. I feel like that's when things get really toxic. Like I was listening to these experts recently talk about the psychology of romance. And they were talking about how every relationship has its own culture. That was the word they used. You have your own culture. And in that culture, you almost have a shared language. You have shared rituals. You have just this pattern and this dynamic that only makes sense to you. If you made that sound or that voice in the company of anyone else, they would not find it endearing or cute. It's like the history that's shared.
Yeah.
And you know that things go wrong when the culture, when that thing you always do that makes them laugh doesn't make them laugh anymore. And you go, ooh, there's something off in our culture. But you don't need to compare. If you feel like, our friends go and play tennis every weekend and we've never really played tennis and maybe that's how a relationship should be. Like that's where I think things start to get really complicated. And with the princess treatment, it's like I just don't want any stranger on the internet telling me what my relationship should look like. I don't want any of that. I'm absolutely fine. If you want to be treated like a princess and that's part of your culture, all power to you. I actually think there's no problem with that. If you don't want to talk to wait staff, I mean, it's a little bit rude, but absolutely. And he does this and he pays for things and you like diamonds, fabulous. But this thing about everyone being an expert, I'm just like, we're all negotiating our own relationships privately. Like I don't think it's anything we can ever properly perform.